Welcome to Gun Owners of America, State of the Second podcast. I'm Kailey.
And I'm John, and today we're joined by Nathan from Mitchell Defense. Nathan, thank you for joining us. Can you go ahead and just introduce yourself to the folks out there?
Yeah, I'm Nathan Mitchell. I'm the owner of Mitchell Defense. I come from a military background, oil field background, and now I'm in the gun space. And I'm super excited to be on this podcast.
We're super excited to have you on the podcast. I've heard about your product for a very long time. Good friend of ours, Sean Heron, has talked nothing but good stuff about you. I got a chance to meet you a year ago and talk to you a little bit about your product.
Looking to upgrade your everyday carry? Langdon Tactical takes factory firearms and turns them into precision-built tools you can trust.
From world-class trigger jobs to complete custom packages, every detail is built for smooth, faster, and more accurate performance.
Known for the legendary LTT Beretta 92, Langdon Tactical sets the standard in custom handguns.
Trusted by professionals and enthusiasts alike, Langdon Tactical delivers more than upgrades. It delivers precision-built confidence.
Learn more at langdontactical.com and use code LTTGOA for $100 off orders over $1,000.
Let's just go ahead and dive into this. We'll start off with our first segment, which is rapid fire questions. We're going to ask you 5 questions. You answer them how you see fit. The first one is, what is the best thing about working with your spouse?
The best part about working with my spouse is not working with my spouse. No, my wife. So that's like, it's always an interesting question. Like me and my wife balance each other really well. Like I'm very much like, let's do this. Let's go, go, go. And she's like the person that's like, hey, like, well, let me look at some stuff. She's very corporate America. I'm very much like go for broke. So it's always nice having like a little balance in there.
Who do you feel like is the most influential content creator right now?
Ooh, that's a question. Be real honest, I don't watch a lot of content creation. Man, that is a very hard question. I mean, as far as like influential, like people who have like the largest reach, I think GBRS is doing a lot of great stuff as far as like getting information out there to people that are like, because I come from a tactical space. Like I as an end user, I look at things very, very differently, like not from like a hunting space or any of that kind of stuff. Like I feel like they have a lot of reach. I mean, there's guys like CTT Solutions. He does a great job of putting out like practical content that's like based on like real world stuff. Matt Pranka does a very good job of putting out like good information out there. I don't think they have as large of a reach though as like what the GBRS guys have.
Not Student of American Rifle?
I don't even really watch any of that.
Yeah.
I honestly, the YouTube stuff, like in the content creators, I am so far out of that space. Like I live in like law enforcement and military. Like I pawn off the civilian side. And I feel like a lot of the content creation is like more the civilian side.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What is your favorite firearms operating system?
Operating system? I mean, direct impingement. I think it balances out a lot of things. It has its flaws, but I mean the direct impingement system on the ARs, it's pretty easy to mitigate the downfalls. Like a piston system, you can't like it's like taking a hammer versus taking like an air hose and like to operate it. So that'd be mine.
What is the most underrated item for prepping?
Man, these are hard questions. Most underrated, man, oof. So there's 2 things. Like, so I would say food and like a gas mask. So it's like with prepping, like, so we live in the city. So like my biggest concern is getting out of the city. And so it's like, all right, what kind of attacks are we looking at? We're looking at, or like iodine tablets or like, what is it? Prussian blue. Like if I could just find like a stockpile of that, that'd be great. But it's like getting out of the city. So it's like, okay, well, we have to figure out like route planning, all that kind of stuff. But it's like if the power grid goes down, the U.S. like estimates that within 90 days, 90% of Americans would be dead because there's no access to food and no one knows how to hunt or grow their food. And in places that do have the availability of resources, they're going to get overran and everything's going to get killed. So being able to like feed your family to like wait that part out, I think is an underrated thing. Gas mask, I mean, depending on what kind of that's the whole thing, is like getting off the X. So like having a gas mask, like most likely you would probably need it for anything that people are predicting that could be possibly happening.
All right, last question, I guess is the easy one. If you can make one firearms related movie more realistic, what would it be?
Ooh, have you guys seen Havoc?
I have not.
I have not.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk about one of my friends is in it, Michelle. We were talking about that earlier. She's in it. Every single gun scene is in full auto. Like even the pistols. Like this guy, there's like one scene where he's like in a hospital and like goes and like shoots a guy, and it's a full auto pistol. I was like, who actually carries one of those? So I would really, really like that movie to get a little bit better. That would be mine. There's so many movies out there though. Except Lioness. Lioness, they do a fantastic job of.
Lioness was fantastic. The new Terminal List is really good.
I haven't watched that one yet. Dark Wolf.
Yes, really good. The new Ballerina was pretty good.
The Ballerina was pretty good, but when you're like having like a bunch of explosives going in a really tight room, I mean, she died like 30 times in that scene.
I can agree with that.
I remember watching it and I texted my buddy Ron Holmes and I was just like, dude, the explosive scenes. And he's like, yeah, she's bleeding profusely out the nose at a like bare minimum. Like overpressure alone. I mean, come on.
Not only that, the flamethrower scenes.
Which were just cool though.
That was
like,
cool.
Yeah. There's some things that are unrealistic, but it's like, all right, you get cool points on it. That was one of them.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the meat and potatoes of this. Go ahead and give a little bit more of a backstory of why you started the company, what made you get into this, all that stuff.
So I was in the military. So I was at recon. So I was a corpsman. So Marines don't have their own medics. So we're on the recon side. So I got to go through all that training. So being an actual end user, after I got out of the military, got my degree, went out to the oil field, got my master's degree. We had a pipe inspection business out in the oil field. And when you want to talk about like corrosive, high friction environments, and then putting billions of dollars into R&D, that is the oil field. Like those guys have put so much money into well uptime. Because I mean, like if you strip a well down because like the pump blows or like you have to change out a part. I mean, you're talking like possibly months this thing's down, not making revenue. So like they put a lot of effort into making these wells stay up for longer. And so it's like a lot of coating technology, spring technology, like different manufacturing processes that reduce friction. So I learned a bunch about that. So getting my master's was great out there. Also learned a lot about business. I mean, it's pretty easy to learn business whenever you're in the oil field because money doesn't matter. Like you focus on the relationship side of it. So whenever I sold that company out there, and my wife's from Philadelphia, so she made me move to Philadelphia because I kept her in Midland, Texas for a long period of time. And like if you've ever been to Midland, Texas, it was a labor of love for her to move out there, especially from a city. There's nothing there. So we moved to Philadelphia, and I always wanted to get into the firearm space. Like I've always been a collector. I've always like loved guns, and so like I just kind of like looked at a gun. I was like doing custom rifles for a little bit because it was just like, all right, cool. Like we can do some fun stuff with this. And then you start looking at the system, and it's like, all right, taking like so military medicine, we are taught the whole body approach. Like you're taught to learn how the body functions so you know how to fix it. So like if you're doing tactical medicine in austere environments and you have nothing, like you don't have the Band-Aid that you need to put on something, you have to find a Band-Aid. And so you have to use like your thought process of how things work in order to do that. So, and then the oil field, you have like the engineering side of it. So like taking those two approaches, like looking at a rifle and being like, all right, take all the things that are talked about on Reddit and all like the misinformation that's out there and people, what they say is the best, and looked at the rifle and say, all right, how does this thing function? And how can we, like, where are the pain points, the things that actually, like, we don't solve problems that we create. We actually solve real problems. And that's what, like, one thing I hate about the firearm space is people come out with these products and they're like, oh, we solve this, this, and this. I'm like, yeah, but like, that wasn't a problem. And then you also didn't solve all the other problems that are in the gun and the operating system. So like looked at it and was like, all right, how do we make this more effective for the operator and the end user? It's like, that's my target market is law enforcement and military. So, and what that is looking at like the high friction points. So like you're inside your upper receiver and your bolt carrier group and your springs. Those are the moving parts inside your rifle that make it function. And so like looking at how to like reduce friction, and we do a bunch of stuff to reduce friction. And then also like we have a carbon cutter or sand cutter bolt. It's mechanically removing dirt and debris from the system. But like, and so like anodized is a high friction surface. So like if you have higher friction, that means that dirt and debris can stick to it easier. That's why they get gummed up really, really bad. So it's like, okay, well, how do we remove that and reduce that? So putting a lot of that stuff, and then like thermal fitting, which I mean, thermal fitting is not new to the firearm space. There's like 3 companies that we do it. But that's something they use in the oil field all the time. Like, so thermal fittings, like where you have to, like you heat up the upper receiver to expand the metal, put the barrel in there, and the metal cools and locks it into place. Because people talk about deflection, like all these crazy things like with guns, and you're just like, well, just thermal fit it. Like, why would you not do that? Like, you get micro movements that affect accuracy over time. So yeah, that's like a long-winded way. We make a better bank stick.
No, I appreciate you diving into that. Because my background worked for an AR manufacturer, worked for a barrel manufacturer. This is stuff that I like to hear because a lot of people look at an AR and just go, okay, well, every AR is the same. That's not true.
Hey, I love that conversation.
I know. But there's all these little nuances. So I do want to bring up, I know I'm going to get you a little spicy here for a second before I know we got our from the soapbox, but I'll get you a little spicy. A friend, Alan Forkner over at Gunbroker brought this up the other day. Is Mil-Spec the bare minimum?
Oh man. So if you actually know what Mil-Spec is, that's where it gets a little bit dicey on that conversation. So, I mean, let's just talk about bolts for Mil-Spec bolt is Carpenter 158 high pressure tested, individually high pressure tested, and MPI'd. So what you're technically supposed to do is take the bolt, fire it on with a proof load, and then go and MPI it afterwards to make sure there's no cracks or deformities in it. Well, there's so many studies out there right now that like if a proof load will reduce the bolt life by 30%. So it's like, okay, what is the necessity of this? Like, how many bolts are failing? So it's like, okay, the bolt manufacturer we talked to, like I can't remember what the numbers are. It's like 7,000 maybe a month. Let's just go with that number. So 7,000 a month, like over the course of 5 years, they've had 4 bolts fail. And it's like, okay, so this is not a necessary process, and you're reducing your bolt life. So there's some things that Mil-Spec does that's good and some things that don't. Like, so armor loop coating, the coating that we use on the bolt carrier group, it's actually a Mil-Spec coating. It's probably one of the only Mil-Spec things I actually agree with. But I don't think that Mil-Spec should be the baseline. Mil-Spec is the cheapest buyer. They're cheapest bidder. There's some things that Mil-Spec is over and above, and there's most of the things that Mil-Spec is below. So like Mil-Spec is 4 MOA. 1 MOA should be the industry standard. Like, we can make barrels cheap enough for a 1 MOA accuracy all day long. Like, and people do that. But like, there's still companies out there that guns are like 4 MOA. And so 4 MOA is not something that you should be basing accuracy on. I mean, 4 MOA at 100 yards, you're going to hit your target if you're aiming dead center, but most of the time guys are going to be shooting left, shooting right, and you're missing your target. So accurate. So we have 3 pillars in our rifles, and this is what I believe every rifle should have: is accuracy, reliability, and durability. So it shouldn't fall apart on you. So parts should have to work. So that's where like Mil-Spec, they prove that. They prove the bolts work. They're not going to break on you. Like reliability wise, I think that Mil-Spec needs a reliability standard. I think that's something they're greatly lacking on. It's like their Mil-Spec is like round wire springs. So round wire springs only last about 8,000 cycles before they lose their springiness. And so you start to have issues with reliability. So it's like, okay, well, it's failing the end users because they're not changing the springs out that often. And then accuracy wise, I mean, Mil-Spec fails at accuracy. I mean, it should, like, the industry standard should be above Mil-Spec.
I couldn't have said it any better. I know I say that a lot, but I agree. It's a lot of people will look at the AR-15 and go, Stoner did it right, and we don't need to change it. But there's a lot of small things that we can change, and what you have done over the last couple years, or as long as you've been around, is you've made those changes. And a lot of people don't understand what MOA actually is, so there's that too.
That is correct. A lot of gun manufacturers do not understand what MOA is.
But I mean, what? I'm trying to think how I want to word that. What makes your product? And I've shot your product. What makes your product stand out versus all the other right black rifles that are out there. A lot of people will be like, well, an AR-15 is an AR-15 is an AR-15. What makes your guys stand out and makes the justification to get a Mitchell Defense over something else?
So having like law enforcement, military end users is like is our end. And this is what, talking like departments and stuff. So like 1 MOA or better. Like we have a 1 MOA guarantee on every one of our rifles, even like the 7.5-inch ones. And I think that's an extremely important thing for someone who's, either if you're defending your life or if you're using it in a tactical scenario, long range shooting, competition shooting, or just going out plinking with your friends. Accuracy, I think, is something that definitely like we stand out. Like one of our guns we ran, we got like 0.4 MOA. Like that was like in our accuracy testing. Accuracy is greatly the guns are capable of it. That doesn't mean the ammo is capable of it. So just that's a caveat there. Because we did a test, and I think we were anywhere between 0.4 MOA and 6 MOA based on what ammo we were shooting, which is like...
What'd you get 0.4 with? Was it like a 69 grain?
No, I think that one was actually a 55. It was match grade ammo. The heavier bullets did have better accuracy, but it was just like... I can't remember. It was Winchester match. I can't remember what the grain was on it. And that actually surprised me a little bit. What were we just talking about? Oh, what makes it better? So yeah, the accuracy portion of it, but then also our reliability. So like, and accuracy also has to stay accurate for longer courses of fire. So your barrel starts to heat up and it starts to shift. And so like the thermal fitting of our barrels, we maintain accuracy longer. So like everyone talks about MOA being like a 3-round group. It needs to be a 5-round group. And that I'm like a firm believer in a 5-round group because like your barrel gets warm enough to start to throw rounds. And usually it's the 5th round if you're going to throw a round. And then reliability wise, so that's reducing friction. We have a proprietary buffer system, so we use a different type of spring that will last 200,000 cycles versus 8,000 cycles in like a round wire spring, but it also gives more forward pressure. And then the compression, like the resistance in the compression cycle is even throughout. So like in a round wire spring, you have the most force whenever it's collapsed. And then whenever it starts to spread back out, you lose your forward pressure. And so like whenever it's stripping rounds out of the magazine is the weakest point of your spring cycle. And so with that, a round wire, or the springs that we use, the flat wire springs, they are stripping rounds out no matter how dirty that rifle gets. You're getting that more forward pressure. But what it also does is felt recoil is greatly reduced because it evens out the entire cycle. So it's not, you don't get the slap and the muzzle rise. So you're managing muzzle rise in the buffer system versus putting a compensator on and annoying everyone around you. And then reliability wise, like our last independent endurance test, and this is kind of the big one. This is what sells most people, like in the law enforcement space specifically. Like our last independent endurance test, we ran 17,554 rounds without cleaning or lube before we had the first failure. You read any review on people's like the YouTubers reviews or any other companies, people will talk about 2,000 rounds. And then when you're talking about like insane reliability, it's 10,000 rounds. We got 17,000. Did not expect that to happen, by the way. So 10,000 rounds is our minimum. So we have very, very high standards of what our rifles have to perform to for it to be one of our rifles. And 10,000 was our minimum. But then and then with the sand cutter, the new carbon cutter, it's wording. The carbon cutter, we actually sent it out to Machine Gun Range in Vegas and said, hey, drop this into your Colt M4 machine guns and run it. Don't take it out. Don't clean it. Don't do anything. Run it till it breaks. And run it till it stops running and it's too dirty. They were over 20,000 rounds before they had any type of slowdown of that thing. That it was just proof of concept that the carbon cutter just like it mechanically. It's a mechanical process that removes dirt and debris from your system. And that's the one downfall of a direct impingement system is that you're like blowing dirt into the whole system. And so, yeah.
What buffer weight you running?
H1s.
H1s.
That's also very dependent on caliber and length. It's and that's like a balancing act. Like, cause we build a system. And so that's and that's why I think like people get very like, they're like, oh, I build my own ARs. It's like, okay, well, like we build a system, like our gas port size, our gas blocks, our gas tubes, our bolt carrier groups, the coating on the inside of the thing, the coating on we coat our gas rings. And then like our buffer weight, our buffer system, even our buffer tubes are redesigned for more efficiency. We build a system. Like and we build different parts that go into all of our guns, like, which you can buy some of our parts, but it's not just slapping some stuff together. It's like we're timing stuff. We're actually working on like the speed, the ejection patterns, and like drilling gas ports based on size, dwell times, all that fun stuff.
What was the failure?
It was complete carbon lock. Yeah, I mean, you can't get away from that. Like the chamber just gets so dirty at some point. And I think the failure wasn't even like while we were shooting. It was because we let them sit. This is over like a 6-month period. Like they just went back to it and then like couldn't get it to come out. It was just completely carbon locked in there. So you do need to clean your guns.
Yes, please clean your guns.
I realize that there are many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all of the time. But here's the truth.
You won't find another cell phone service provider that does more to defend our Second Amendment right to bear arms than Patriot Mobile.
For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all 3 of the main networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask one of the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have made the switch and are now supporting causes they believe in simply by joining Patriot Mobile.
Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade.
Patriot Mobile's all U.S.-based support team is standing by to take care of you. Call 972-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/GOA. Use the promo code GOA for a free month of service and 15% off every line. That's patriotmobile.com/GOA or call 972-PATRIOT and make the switch today. So it is the time of the episode where we go to our From the Soapbox, where we take on the spicier takes within the industry in the 2A space. So the floor is yours for your spiciest take.
I need an example of what we're supposed to talk about.
Anything.
We've had gun owners or hoarders all the way to...
rants about the government.
I mean, the floor is yours, as spicy as you want to make it.
Yeah. So the state of the industry right now is extremely slow. This is like a love-hate thing. So like, I don't really have a real opinion. It's just something I'm seeing and it frustrates me. The NFA tax going away is screwing us. And I'm going to love it in January. Do not get me wrong. Whenever we'll probably buy a plane in January. Who knows? But getting to January, I mean, this whole industry is hurting. Like whenever they did that and they did it for January, it was the worst thing that could have ever happened. Because I mean, you could pinpoint it. My sales in July were 20% of what we even had projected, and we had a slow month projected. And which I don't even know what date that came out, but like everything after that, like people are like, "Oh, I'm going to wait," and then it's like, "Oh, well, the NFA is going away." It's like, okay, hold on. We got to talk about realistic timelines for a second. And that's something to me right now that's like extremely frustrating as like a business owner. It's like, all right, well, we can't sell anything. Like gun stores, I mean, everyone we talk to, they're like, we haven't sold an AR in months. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this is pretty bad.
Do you think the AR sales are a direct correlation, or is it the suppressor sales that are holding it up?
So I don't think it's the suppressor. I mean, the SBRs part of it, I think, is a big deal. Suppressor sales have got to be something. I mean, this is also our slow time. We are projected to have a slow summer. I mean, it's the Trump slump. Like we have this. There's just a lot of things that are compiling that are making it a slow summer. But man, it is hurting the industry right now. Like I mean, every company I talk to, I mean, even like the manufacturers, manufacturers that were like willing to do things on credit, they're like, yeah, no, you're going to pay whenever you put the order in. Because they're like, we are getting like screwed left and right of people not paying their bills. And like, I mean, there's a bunch of consolidation happening. It's definitely rocky to be in the industry right now. Like AR side. I mean, there's like suppressors, I think companies are doing well. But in also like gun stores, one thing I just would love to get through to them, it's like, guys, come January, you're not going to be able to buy an SBR. And like 2-stamp guns. I mean, that's going to be a huge thing too. And it's like, put your orders in now. And that's something we can't get through to gun stores. It's like, guys, can you just put a PO in, and I won't make you pay till January when I deliver it. Like, just put your PO in. Like, I can't. Like right now, it's like, all right, I'm going to create 10 rifles this month because like I'm not going to like build a stockpile with the hopes that maybe you buy something in January. Like,
so my prediction is this, and I've told other industry guys this. My prediction is this: we're going to see come January 1, we'll see this jump, and then a lull because there's going to be nothing in stock, and then a jump, and then it'll start to even out. Probably around summertime. Are you thinking the same thing? Or are we going to see?
Depends on the information that's getting put out about the NFA going away. I think that is going to make or break our January. I think there's a lot of people, and we talk to them all the time. They're like, oh, well, the NFA is going to go away before January, which I mean, you guys have your ear to the ground on that, or are really the forefront of it. So like maybe it will, I don't know. But to me, it just seems like we're years away on that one. And like people think that it's going to go away. And so I think we're going to have a huge bump on it, and then everyone's going to like die off because they're going to think the NFA is completely going away. And they're like, we don't want to be on a list. It's like, okay, I get it. I mean, that's actually pretty fair. Like if you actually think it's going to go away in a timely manner.
Yeah. So as far as like the time on any lawsuits, right? Like I would love to have a crystal ball and be able to say, this is when a decision is going to happen. What we do know is court precedent. We do know that the NFA was taken via lawsuit, and the court decided that it was only constitutional because it was a tax. Mm-hmm. That tax has now gone to zero. We have our lawsuit saying that the NFA can't be in existence anymore because it's a $0 tax. You've already ruled. They changed where $0 tax. That's an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And so therefore this should be a settled case. Lawsuits are A, very expensive, B, very time consuming. Mm-hmm. And it all depends on the judges, the docket, and then whether or not the federal government's going to appeal and what those appeals look like. And is this something that would have to go to the Supreme Court or not? All of those are variations in what this timeline could look like. But as far as what we know as the precedents, the only reason it was ruled constitutional was because of it was connected to a tax. And then now that tax is down to $0.
So what is the likely scenario? I mean, not even timelines, because timelines can be crazy. But like, I mean, will it have to go to the Supreme Court? Like, is that anticipated?
It all depends on what the federal government decides to do. Never say never in American politics. It's the first rule of American politics.
Yeah.
But hopefully we won't have to go to the Supreme Court.
Wouldn't it benefit us, though, to go to the Supreme Court? Like, have the Supreme Court rule on that?
Not necessarily.
No. I was thinking, because they're like the highest thing in the land. It makes it harder to overturn that later.
Well, yes and no. It really, I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, so I don't really know the best answer. But as far as it being decided law, there are plenty of things that we have stopped in the lower courts that have stood because you would have to bring in a whole other lawsuit, and I'm not even sure how you would do that to overturn something that just because they took it to a $0 tax. It has something to do with legislative intent, and again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to go too far into the weeds. Yeah. But I mean, we've been able to stop plenty of things without having to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and those things have stood the test of time.
That's interesting. And is there a possibility of if the politics flips, of them adding back the tax?
I mean, there's always that opportunity, right? So anytime that there's a budget-related bill, theoretically they could, and so, unless it was struck down, and so you need the courts to remove it, or you need a amendment through the legislature that's dealing with the substance of the NFA, because for the first time in history, the NFA was not considered a tax to get through the bird rule.
It's interesting. Well, so, and this is like, I guess this is total lack of understanding. So like, I'm not like arguing. Maybe I am, who knows? So are we trying to get rid of the NFA, or are we trying to get SBRs and suppressors out of the NFA?
We're trying to get rid of
machine guns are still going to stay inside the NFA because they're still taxed, correct?
So you have the NFA, which was in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get rid of the NFA. The machine gun ban was in 86.
Mm-hmm.
So they're two different things. So machine guns will still be regulated. It would just be
But aren't they in the NFA?
no, right?
I mean, you still have to file like forms with the NFA.
Yes,
It's technically yes.
It's complicated.
No, I know. And that's like this is way outside my pay grade.
If I remember correctly from what I've learned again from our legal team and everything, the ruling through the reconciliation bill was strictly for suppressors, SBRs, SBSs, and AOWs that went down to the AOWs went down to 5, if I'm not mistaken. Everything else went down to 0.
Sure.
So
We'll check it after.
We'll have to check it after.
Yeah.
So
GTS, Google that stuff.
So right now, the way it stands is we would be getting SBR, SBS's suppressors out of the NFA completely. AOW, yeah, and any other AOWs, and then machine guns would stay in under the
86 law.
86, which is the Hughes Amendment, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm trying to sound smart. Doesn't always work. I don't foresee, and again, Kailey said crystal ball, I don't foresee the Hughes Amendment going away unless we get some sort of precedent to get machine guns, at least in my lifetime. But this is the most we've seen a win for the Second Amendment in a very long time of getting at least the $0 tax stamp on SBR, SBSs, and suppressors. So,
oh yeah, I mean, getting those out of the NFA would be huge. I mean, we do a lot of international stuff, and like, there's no other country that like regulates them. They always make fun of us, like whenever we're like talking to them. They're like, "Oh, it's like like SBRs," and like we don't care. It's a barrel length to us, and like suppressors are the same way in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Well, who are we talking? We talked about this in an earlier episode, where in Europe suppressors are it's civilized.
Yeah, I mean, guns are like the only thing OSHA doesn't regulate for hearing protection. It's like OSHA has all these requirements for like if your workspace is this loud, like whatever. Like we're like, oh, we can reduce the sound. It's like, oh, no, you can't reduce the sound of guns.
Well, actually, OSHA endorses the use of suppressors.
Okay,
it is. That one. Yeah. So
the more you know.
So it's the craziest thing with suppressors, where you have OSHA endorses the use, and the ATF is like, that's a gun.
Yeah.
But a suppressor is not a gun. There's no firing. According to the ATF's definition of a gun, it's the same thing with ATF's definition of an AR receiver, which makes me listen. I could go on a rant for a while.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Like, they can't understand. The whole definition of a firearm is the mechanism that causes the firearm to fire. Hence why we see serial numbers on frames and receivers, right? AR receiver, the firing part is the upper receiver. I mean, you've got the trigger, but the mechanical part, technically.
They kind of have to work together, though.
Yes, they have to, but it's weird how they word it.
I think they just had to pick apart.
That's
the way it was explained to me by the ATF. It's like we had to pick something. It's like, okay.
Okay. The ATF just doesn't make any sense half the time, and their technology department or whatever what is that department that judges everything? Somebody knows it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I remember watching them fumble around trying to take apart a Glock.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. No, it's just you're absolutely right. I mean, the best thing I can say on everything is support your local brick and mortar, because without them, we lose a huge part of the Second Amendment.
Oh, they're the backbone of the industry. Like that is like your like if like before like getting into like the gun industry, like if I wanted to know something about guns, I went and asked my local store, like because you expect them to be subject matter experts, and so local stores out there, be subject matter experts, please. But like that's like, and that we talk about it all the time, like going away from online sales, like trying to push everything out to the dealers, because like those are the people who have that one-on-one connection. And like we get a lot of phone calls, like people trying to have one-on-one connections with us. And I'm like, man, I will always answer the phone. Like our customer support line goes to me. So like because like most of the time I'm the only one who can answer the question, but like I love doing that kind of stuff. But it's like I would love for the dealers, and then like being able to go educate the dealers and have them like push the product, like pushing products that are like the right product for their customers and pushing the best products.
You know, that's can I go on a soapbox?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right, I'm going on a soapbox. That is an issue that I've seen for a very, very long time. And you could tell what stores are not training their employees on being subject matter experts, or what employees do not want to be subject matter experts. Okay, I worked behind the counter for a very long time, and I would take the time, and I know this is dating myself, but I would take the time to read magazine articles and keep up with industry, what new products are coming out, and YouTube videos and everything like that, so I could become, and watching multiple stuff. And that was a lot of time out of I could be doing something else, but I wanted to be that subject matter expert when it came to everything. The problem is that a lot of these gun stores, you can tell which employees are taking the time, or what ranges or retailers have the training programs in place to teach their employees what to do. And you can tell which ones are getting the most incentives from certain companies. Mm-hmm. I hate to put it out that way, but that is the truth. You can see, you go to XYZ gun shop and there's an incentive from XYZ manufacturer to sell X number of guns and you get free product. You can see and tell exactly what shops are pushing that and what shops are not pushing that. Push the product that's best for the person. And Kailey has told her story of her experience on this show. It is a problem. I don't know how to fix it. I don't think I can ever fix it. But if you work at a retailer, like the stores I worked at would not let us do the incentive programs just for that reason. Mm-hmm. It is, I get why companies do it, because
some of them have some pretty good incentive programs.
They're really great incentive programs. Trust me, they're really great incentive programs.
Go into your gun store, and if that's the gun they're pushing, they probably have a very good incentive program.
Yes. But that's an issue. That is a big issue, because not everybody fits into a box.
Especially pistols.
And you can tell, you know who you are. I'm pointing to you. I'm getting angry, and I don't get on my soapbox very often, but this is something you are doing a disservice to the community by pushing that you have to get people the right gun.
Well, and that's like in like shooting sports. I mean, especially like women in shooting. I think it's like one of the largest untapped markets, and we don't focus on it near enough. It's like in new shooters, like they're going out to go shoot this gun. They need to have a positive experience in order to and so if you're giving them a full size pistol and they have small hands, and that's what pistols I always talk about, because pistols are very specific to the user. Some guns are made for big hands, some are made for small hands. Some are people have wrist issues that they have to have certain grip angles. There's all kinds of stuff. There should be a list of questions you should be asking before you ever recommend a product.
Yeah, you 100%. Mm-hmm. That's what I used to do. You ask a list of questions. You go, okay, there's There's so many questions you need to ask. You can't be showing. The other one that I really hate is, and because I've seen it so many times, is I like XYZ gun, that's why you need to buy XYZ gun, without even asking the person what their budget is.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk into my store and I go, Nathan, you want a pistol. Okay, here's a $2,000 Wilson Combat. What, and you're not in know anything. What's your expectations? Oh, wow, wait a minute. All guns are $2,000? I can't afford that. And I leave. It's a disservice. It's not being genuine to the community and not helping grow the community. And luckily we're seeing, this is another rant. Luckily we're seeing the community diversify and get away from the only thing you need is a 1911 and a 45, or all you need is a Glock 19, or all you need is this. There's so many great options out there now that there's something literally for everybody.
We're seeing a lot of the customers too being more educated buyers, and that's awesome to see. But like that's like you're talking about like price points. So like one thing that frustrates me, it's like, okay, like you coming in like, what's your price point? It's like, oh, like I'm really looking for like this gun that's like $3,000, and it's like, okay, like what capabilities do you need in a gun? It's like, okay, that gun's not going to give you those capabilities, and that gun's also not worth $3,000. Like let's go to like this for like price point doesn't always equal quality, especially in the firearm space. Price point, like, and I always going like people or companies are solving problems that they create. It's like you're paying their R&D budget to do something different that actually is not changing anything. Like it just looks different. Like it doesn't mean that it's going to give you any more capabilities. And like you're going like out on the range, like plinking with your friends. Like yeah, some guns are just fun to have. And some of them are iconic, like those are like collector's items and stuff. But it's like if you're talking about like something you're defending your life with, like you need a pistol that's going to work. Like I mean, most likely you're going to use a pistol in the States. But then if like on your AR platform, it's like you need something that's going to work and it's going to be like you can rely on your life with it. And like there's some of those guns that are up there in the price points that I would not rely anyone's life on.
I've done my soapbox. You need to get on a soapbox at some point.
No, I think one of the best things that this conversation has been focusing around is that educational piece.
Yes.
And it's not just from the perspective of a seasoned gun owner, but also for those that are coming into the community who are maybe even not ready to come into the community, but are getting gun curious. Helping someone figure out what is it that they're looking for, what is their desire, and what are some of the stigmas that exist that they're having to overcome. We spend a lot of time as an organization talking about what is the on-ramp to get people interested in the Second Amendment, defending the Second Amendment. What is the catalyst when you see a massive amount of new gun owners come into the community? What was the thought process with the COVID bump in firearms? What are the reasons that make someone think, okay, I actually need this. I want to get involved with this. I want to pick this up as a hobby. And then meeting their needs educationally. Mm-hmm. So this way they feel confident. They feel empowered to start asking the right questions. So it doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter. It still matters who's behind the counter. But it doesn't matter as much if they're going to a big box store or if they're going to a mom and pop store. They know the right questions to ask. Mm-hmm. They can kind of start to differentiate what they're looking for, so that they're not pigeonholed into, you're a woman, so you need a revolver, or although I think those days are slowly leaving.
Yeah, there might be a star of that one.
But whatever that stigma is, or whatever that person thinks that they need versus what they actually need.
Yeah, and I think too, like the second most important thing is like get something that's practical for you, that like it fits your hand, like that you can shoot. Also, go train. You can have the best piece of equipment that is like hand fitted to you in your body. If you do not know how to use it and you need to use it in a high stress situation, you will drop the mag. You will not be able to actually do anything with it.
Thank you for saying that.
Training is the most important thing I think in this industry.
I got in an argument with somebody the other day about, so there was we were talking about a specific gun and it came with one mag. And I was like, this is one mag, even though it's the bare minimum, it should come with two. Two should be bare minimum across the industry. Hear me out. It should actually be three. I'm not going to jump on John Patton's soapbox, but
I think it's 3 too.
Yeah.
We ship them with 1, but I think it should be 3. We're trying to figure that out.
We had this argument, and he's like, well, I only carry with one mag, and that's all I need. And I'm like, have you taken any training? And he's like, no. I'm like, go take a training class. Go take a training class because I can argue with you until I'm blue in the face about the importance of carrying 2 mags and why carrying 2 mags is important. But you need to go learn for yourself, because I can sit here and preach on my soapbox and yell and scream and go take a training class. Training all your preconceived notions of how a gunfight is going to go goes out the window when you take a training class.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make a caveat with a quality trainer.
Yes, with a quality trainer.
Yes, that is very, very key. I don't even know how to explain how I know that one, but there's been multiple. We had a sales guy. This is just gonna knock on my company a little bit. We had a sales guy once that he did a bunch of training. I wouldn't let that guy touch a gun in our shop, and he was training people of how to use them. And I was like, whenever I found that out, there was lots of things that went wrong with that whole SIDNet scenario. But yeah, there are some people out there that are like, I'm a licensed trainer by such and such organization. It's like, yeah, you don't know how to train people. Yeah. And that, I get on soapbox on that one.
No,
Take it.
Yeah, because I've taken the class you're speaking of, the big class.
Yeah, the organization.
And the people who I was in with in the classroom, there was a few of them where I was like, no. Like the people skills alone, no.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I mean, when we teach training classes, so we occasionally have pop-up training classes. We need to do more of them because we do harp on training a lot. Ron always does them. I mean, Ron has like 30 years of running behind a gun, and like, I mean, I think most of the time we load our magazines to 5 mags because like we're not training you how to shoot. We're training you how to like use your equipment. Like we're going to test everything. You're going to touch things multiple times. You're going to learn how to shoot. You're going to learn how to shoot really well, but you're going to learn how to reload. You're going to learn how to like get behind cover and reload. And like, you're going to be shooting, moving, communicating. And I mean, you're also going to learn how to shoot. But oh man, there's so many trainers out there. Like we rant about it with CQB. So like people love doing like the tactical training and all that stuff. I think it's very, very good if you want to like learn how to get out of your house, like or like out of a thing. Like I mean, CQB is like a great thing to do and like be like operator for a day. But like they put so much science into this stuff, and it's like people. And we were talking with guys who've done it professionally, and it's like people will come up and be like, hey, what are you going to do in this scenario? And they're like, we're going to throw grenades in there. Like, we're not going in that building. I mean, it's like what is it? It's like speed, stealth, and violence of action. It's like if you don't have, it's like the 3 things you have to have. And if you don't have one, you overcompensate on the others. And it's like, if you don't have speed or stealth, violence of action, we're just going to drop a bomb on it. Like, you don't always go into the room. And that's like something I don't think people train properly. And then and also any type of tactical training, I'm a huge believer in like talk to someone who's actually been in a gunfight. I don't think that like learning how to shoot on like a flat range or like in your like how to shoot a pistol, you necessarily have to have someone who's been in a firefight, just someone who knows the fundamentals really, really well, because the fundamentals are the most important thing. And you always go back to fundamentals. And that's like, I mean, even like with guys that have been shooting for 20 years, we start every range day with the fundamentals, just going through like on the line, shoot to, like switch pistol, like just basic safety things. But yeah, because like having like the practical experience of like being in a gunfight, I think for a lot of the tactical applications helps.
Well, and I learned the hard way. I was in a carbine class with a good friend of mine, a great instructor, highly recommend. I've already talked about him a number of times. So I'm in the carbine class, and I learned more stuff just going through that class than I have first off. There's a reason why you always bring a backup to a class. My gun completely went down. The trigger got a burr on the inside and locked up. So I was out, learned that I cannot shoot a rifle left-handed, so I have to transition over because I cannot see down the optic whatsoever. Learned so many things that you don't think about when you're just sitting there in a bay shooting, going through the motions and the small things when it comes to that. And then on top of that, I've taken a number of classes. I'm still learning to this day, even though I have taken training classes and done this. I'm still learning. We did airsoft at an event the one time, and we're a CQB. Forgot height over bore.
Yep.
Simple as that. Height over bore. Totally forgot about it. It's things even that that I've taken the classes, and I pride myself at being proficient with a firearm in this. I forgot the smallest little detail of sight over bore and lost the fight.
Yep.
And that's why training is very important.
No, it is. That's so Ron, he was hoping to be here today too, but he's off training. He got like a contract, guys that are going over seas to do some humanitarian work. And so he's doing, like, they're trying to push all these guys through all this training. And so that was one thing that, like, they had all the guns that they were doing, like they're really qualifying guys to go overseas. And so he was telling me when I was driving over that they had like guns were blowing up on them. Like buffers were exploding. Like, I'm like, I've never heard of a buffer exploding. He's like, dude, I don't know what it is. It was like paper mache. He said, I think they loaded like these things, like stuffed them with paper. I was like, they did what? And he was like, I have no idea. That's, you need to see this. And like, he was sending me pictures. I can't explain it. But like using your equipment, like I have a Staccato XC. I know that gun can go 1,700 rounds without cleaning before it's going to have a failure. Like, and it will not go more than that. I've tested it like 5 different times. And it's around 17. It's not an exact number every single time. But like knowing the limitations of your equipment, I mean, that is huge.
Well, that brings up another point. Test firing your guns.
Yes. Getting a proper BZO too. That's kind of like a big deal. There's all kinds of stuff. You should go train. Everyone needs to go train.
Nathan, we appreciate you being on the show. And as a thank you, we have our gift from our guests from Palmetto State Armory and AACM. So you'll be receiving this after the show. So thank you again, Palmetto State Armory, for providing that to all our guests. Go ahead and shout out socials, where people can find you, all that stuff.
Yep. So mitchelldefense.com is our website. Our social media, our main one's Instagram. So it's just Mitchell Defense. It's super easy to find. You have to type the entire thing in order for us to pop up. It's our logo. We have a YouTube channel. Go find it. We're eventually going to do something on it. I probably haven't put a video up in like 2 years. But then also Riker USA. We also do a lot of stuff with Riker USA. So their social media and website as well. Usually that's the best places to find us.
Yeah, Ron, where are you? We miss you.
Yeah. You may want to set aside like 2 hours for him. He will talk.
All right, thank you everyone for listening to this week's episode of State of the Second podcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, and leave a 5-star review on all podcasting platforms. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
And don't forget to join us for Goals 2026 in Des Moines, Iowa. We hope to see you there.